Let's look at the effects of Big Pharma on the microbiome. Because inside our gut and around our bodies are hundreds of trillions of bacteria that make up our microbiome. And when it gets unbalanced, there's many different symptoms that almost all of us have of an unhealthy gut. Now let's listen to some words by the medical professionals.
We know the microbiome interacts with cells in the lining of our intestines, helping them to absorb nutrients and energy, strengthening our immune system, and more. When this healthy community gets tipped out of balance, certain types of bacteria can grow out of control, causing illness.
When the good bacteria get misplaced by the bad bacteria, or certain combinations, then we find that there's a host of different diseases. Now this is extremely complex and baffles reductionistic science. Thousands of new microbiome species have just recently been found. Now let's listen to the professional again.
Until recently, the standard medical approach was to give antibiotics to kill the problem bacteria. But now we know that destroying bacteria further disrupts the balance in the microbiome, sometimes causing more serious problems.
Did you hear that? They finally are admitting that the antibiotics are creating problems with health, mostly with mental disease. Now, they made a lot of money, but that does not allow them to just make disease.
For example, one type of bacteria can cause a colon infection when the microbiome has been disrupted. Uncontrolled, it can cause severe tissue damage and death.
Death? Did he say death? Yes, we have to avoid the overuse, misuse of antibiotics. Actually, we now know we should avoid any use of all antibiotics. This is really a problem if we're not going to worry about the bowel flora and try to fix the damage that we're doing. We have to worry what these antibiotics are doing. Now, just who did this antibiotic mistake plague? Well, it plagued everybody! Absolutely everybody on the planet has been affected. It's created vast quantities of mental disease. Antibiotics are everywhere. They're used by the agricultural industry to make our animals fatter quicker. A host of different abuses that are done on the animals. And then the secondary target is our children. The primary market is animals and the secondary is their children, creating a big problem as we look at this and what it does and how it makes stress in our bodies. Yes, stress can cause poor eating habits, but poor eating habits then lead to more stress because it upsets the microbiome. And this has made it so that now goldfish beat humans with their attention span. This is dramatically affecting the quality of people because the bad gut flora lowers the IQ and also lowers memory. It creates an incredible problem. Around the world, this is happening to our children and to our society. The mental diseases made by gut flora include basically everything from eating disorders, attention deficit, stress control, anxiety, mood disorders, bipolar personality disorders. All of these are caused by aggravations of the bowel flora. And we need to be able to address this situation to be able to help change our very society and to help our people and address the qualities of poor nutrition and mental disease that's happening in the world today. After the antibiotic mistake, next comes the mistake of psychiatric drugs. The reason you're sick is not because you're deficient in these drugs, but a host of different drugs that make money by not really curing you, placating. We have to recognize we're not mentally ill because of a drug deficiency. We need to deal with the microflora. And if we look at the word pharmacy, pharmacy comes from the Greek word for poison of the witch, poison from a sorcerer. That's where the word actual pharmacy comes from.
Drugs. Don't you get it? Drugs help people.
No, Dad. I can't do this anymore. The stuff is unnatural and it doesn't even work. Half the stuff I've been grinding up is sugar pills and the other half is borderline narcotic.
So now we see some of the huge mistakes of Big Pharma and the antibiotics and the mental drugs and a host of other different things. all profit over people, combined with the sugar industry, creating excessive and extreme bowel flora problems that create all different types of gut dysbiosis, and this creates an intense playground for every disease known, especially mental diseases. Now, if we're going to cure mental diseases, we need to be able to address this. Now, this is the basic idea, what's correct the bowel flora, and then what's correct the mental disease. This is Desiree Duvernay introducing to you a brand new form of medicine, electroceuticals, to help balance your body and mind. It starts with balancing the gut flora. An idea whose time has come.